Hello, I'm Dori Nando. You can catch up with all the fun on the Cosmopolitan Mix and on all our shows via podcast. Just go to My Joy Online podcast and search for your favorite show and relive those moments all over again. Only on Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
Just know we are live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 144. On to our very first story. Now, there's been mixed reactions in various assemblies after the release of the list of metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executive nominees. Now, while some are kicking against the president's nominees, others are welcoming the appointments with a call on constituents and party supporters to accept and confirm the appointees during the district assembly elections. Let's start off from the Chereponi district, where angry supporters attacked, beat up party executives and vandalized the party's office.
This is live. Live. Chairman Dikale, 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 Ankarang, Chairman Dikale. Yeah, you should not. This is live. Chairman Dikale.
Minister Danbochi. Their great supporters began the rampage as soon as the official list of the MMDCE nominees was unveiled today in Accra by the local government and rural development minister Danbochi. Amidst armed security forces, the supporters chanted war songs, marching on from the town center to burn at least 6 installations of the party in various locations in the township. From there, they violently proceeded to besiege the private residence of the constituency chairman in order to burn more of the party properties, but were overpowered by the police.
This is live. Live. Chairman Dikale, Chairman Dikale, Chairman Dikale, Chairman Dikale, Chairman Dikale.
Abdul Rahman Sharif, the party's regional deputy Nasara coordinator, who had been on an official assignment monitoring the situation since yesterday when tensions began to mount, said he was disappointed by the failure of the police to stop the incident despite the glaring signals.
How many party pavilions have been touched?
Okay, I can count 3. 3, yes. I can count 3 for now. The central base, patriotic base, and then where our constituency chairman do sit, he has a pavilion. Yes.
The party office, do you have party office in Chereponi?
We don't have a party office in Chereponi. It's just some pavilions that for the youth groups where people do sit. But we don't have a party office.
Have there been any arrests?
No, so far we have not heard of any arrest.
Have there been any injuries?
No, I was told that the MP's brother was hurt, but I don't know how it is currently. I don't know, but the MP's brother, they attacked him, the mob.
You know his name?
I learned he has been taken to the hospital.
You know his name, sir?
He's Fatao. Fatao, Abdul Fatao.
So how did the police allow this to happen? Because yesterday there were signals and...
In fact, even this morning, there were police patrol and everything. We ourselves are wondering why that thing happened. In fact, we ourselves, and going further, I think I don't know if you interview some of them, let them understand that if anyone is due, at least they should make some arrest and let them understand. Well, if you don't make an arrest, they can do anything at any time and go scot-free. Because it was a mob and they were moving. Once they arrest some of them, the rest will also come down.
Meanwhile, some party members in Gambhaga in the East Mampong municipality have also rejected the president's nominee for the area. The supporters said the nomination of Hajia Rashida Mahama was because of her family ties and relationship with the president and not her competence and capabilities. They have therefore threatened to vote against the party like they did in 2020 if the nominee is confirmed.
Lala Banzan Hajia Rasida Soa. Just only 2020 election one. Katinya Ubunwani. President one Shema Kashi Lusugu maybe Usistan one Hajia Alima.
We are not happy because the nominee is a stranger. She has been given the nod because of her sister Hajia Alima Mahama. But this is not fair. This
appointment because I will 2020 no cut for your constitution or G constitution. Turbo lab maintain current one ma incumbent ma.
We are rejecting the president's nominee because we do not know her. She only emerged here in 2020. Remember, we lost this constituency because of issues of the regional creations.
So we will change it.
And we will lose this seat again because of this particular nominee.
Appointment now party for Yatanachi and Manin Hano and Nakufado. By so boy a partner. So, nephew, and coupon at so I hear.
Ilyasu Tanko reporting.
And those were scenes from Chereponi in the northeast region. Let's now connect with Ilyasu Tanko, who joins me from there with the latest. Ilyasu, now we hear the rioting is still at play, that it's still continuing. What exactly are the scenes like in Chereponi currently?
Well, as I speak to you now, the police have been able to quell the rampaging, but the supporters are still angry. The aspirant himself, the disappointed aspirant himself, is now urging calm, but he's urging or he's also calling on the supporters to use what he called their local powers to counter or disagree or reject the president's decision not to appoint him, but rather Hajia Zuera to Mada Nasiru. He's saying that it's not over yet. But I'm also hearing that the supporters actually are also going to petition the police today. They had already done that on Saturday. And my understanding is that they are going to petition the police to hold a demonstration on Monday against the decision of the president not to appoint their favorite or their choice, who is called SK Orlando, but rather Madam Zuera to Mother. So as I speak to you now, the violence, the rampaging has been quelled by the police, but the supporters are still very, very aggrieved.
Now let's talk about some of these supporters. Some of them torched those facilities, the MPP's facilities in Chereponi. What has happened to them? Have there been any arrests yet?
Not at all. In fact, the police were deployed ahead of this particular what happened yesterday. But as you see in some of the clip, the supporters were clashing with some of the police officers in there. And so as I speak to you now, the police have not been able to make any arrests.
So no arrests have been made, and the people are calling for a further demonstration, which can only be a recipe for more of what we may have seen already. How has the police been reacting to all of this, though? I heard initially in that report you put together that there were accusations against the police for having not seen that this was likely to happen and having allowed it to happen. So what has the police been sharing with you?
Yes, exactly. The deputy Nasara coordinator, ahead of what happened yesterday, was sent by the party to try speak to the youth to respect the decision of the president. The police, we understand, on Saturday and Sunday rather, has been engaging with this youth, talking to them to avoid what happened yesterday. But unfortunately, as we see in there, they went ahead anyway to cause that particular distraction. We are not hearing much from the police, except they telling us that the situation is under control and they are ahead of the demonstrators, and they are assuring that they will be able to maintain calm in that particular area.
Eliasu, thank you for bringing us the latest on these developments. We'll stay with you later for Chereponi. But let's check out what the latest is, basically, what has been happening in Chereponi. Do watch this.
The disappointed aspirant, Kofi Orlando, who was rumored to have been tipped for the DCE position, was however shocked to hear the name of Madam Zuera to Mada Nasiru mentioned in the final list of MMDCE nominees presented yesterday by the local government and rural development minister. In response, his supporters poured onto the street in a violent protest, clashing with security forces and destroying party properties. The rampaging supporters destroyed 6 party pavilions at different locations in the township, and at least one person was wounded after a brawl broke out at the residence of the party's constituency chairman, where the angry supporters had besieged to cause further damage to party properties. They were, however, overpowered and dispersed by the police. Listen to some of the supporters justifying their action.
And we, the people of Chereponi, want to send a clear message to the president that the tag NDC has been given to him as the head of the Achim Mafia has come to play. Because it appears that they just want to feel themselves, and the masses can go to hell, they don't care. Now, we are in Chereponi when Honorable Orlando grew as a young man. He knew no other job apart from party work. He's served the party from a very young age till death. And this man has gone through the ranks, been the deputy secretary for 9 good years, the substantive secretary for another 8 years, and now it is his turn to eat. Let's put it that way. Excuse me for my word, eat. And you sit there and concoct your own story to tell us that people in Chereponi rather recommend Hajja Zuera. Who is Hajja Zuera? It's a day that we are all disappointed. The thousands of people that you see, show your cameras, the thousands of people that you see here are all here to mourn for no one but SK. This is a guy who has demonstrated all his life in the service of MPP. I am a party born. It is SK success. It is SK success that will touch all of us. A patriot like me who have served for so many years to be served. We are highly disappointed.
Speaking to the media, the disappointed aspirant urged calm among his supporters, but said it wasn't over yet.
MPP has been able to identify her as such, and leaving people who have suffered for the party so many years. I want to say that I wouldn't want to comment so much. I leave everything to God. God will decide my fate. Let's hold ourselves and see what God has for us. It is not over yet, because our lives are important. The president has his executive power to do what he has done, and we also have our local power to decide. But I still urge you to be calm. It is not over yet. God will decide for us.
Meanwhile, security personnel have intensified patrols to maintain law and order in the area already beset by travel and land conflict. Eliasu Tanko reporting.
So from Chereponi, the story is not too different in Asokore Mampong Municipal Assembly. The supporters there too are rejecting the MCE nominee for the area. They say Kennedy Kankam is not known in the area and might not understand the dynamics of the people and their needs. Prince Apia has more. Prince, thank you for joining. Now, who is this nominee and what reasons are being cited by the party supporters for refusing to accept his nomination?
Okay, so we are talking about Mr. Kennedy Kankam, who was the former MP for Ishaya. So he's the one that was nominated by the president yesterday. And after the nomination, the party faithful, some assembly members, were all not happy about the nominations. Their reasons are that Mr. Kennedy Kankam is not part of them. Is an outsider, as they put it. That means that he is not from the constituency, he's not from the municipality, and that he cannot be the one to take charge of the municipal chief executive position. And what they are saying is that, again, he wasn't part of the shortlisted persons that went for the vetting. And so it is difficult for them to understand that such a person would come and take that position. What they are saying, again, is that there were lots of people, qualified and competent people in the Asokore Mampong municipality who can really do the job. So the reason that they are not happy about, some have even started pleading with the assembly members not to confirm Mr. Kennedy Kankam when the time is due.
So beyond this, have there been any threats? I mean, in other places, we have seen outbreaks of violence and all of that. What have the people, threatened to do on the back of their refusal to accept Mr. Kankam?
There's not been any threat of a sort. The people of Asokore Mampong are very calm people, and they are using the right processes and procedures to get their views heard and their pleas adhered to. And so in Asokore Mampong municipality, there's been nothing of a sort. It's been very calm since yesterday.
All right. So we also know that the next step is for the assemblies to actually go to the point of voting for these people. Have you been able to engage, the assemblies concerning this nomination and whether or not they are going to vote in favor of the president's nominee, Mr. Kankam?
Okay, so I've tried to engage some of them, and basically most of them are saying, the few that I was putting to are saying that they would have to meet their electoral area opinion leaders and some specific persons to decide on whether some of these nominations that have come, they are going to confirm them or reject them. And so it's going to be a very exciting time ahead because now the assembly members are trying to mount a different approach. And previously, we know that we hear that most of them tend to get paid, bribed in a certain form to vote in a certain direction. But now they are all trying to mount a certain approach, which means that they're going to analyze the person proper before they either confirm or reject the person.
Well, Prince, thank you for joining the conversation and bringing us the latest from Asokore Mampong. We're joined at this juncture by Professor Albert Puni, a governance expert. He will be helping us understand the cocktail of matters we are facing currently. Prof, thank you for joining the conversation.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having me.
A pleasure. Now, what do you make of all this, wrangling, the calls, the shouts, the resistance to the nominations of His Excellency the President as far as these MMDCE slots are concerned? Let's start from there. Any surprises looking at the pushback?
Thank you very much. Not at all. I think that once it's a political process, you have noises all the time. This is a process where the constituency level will nominate some people and then they forward it to the presidency. The presidency will look at the list and then would choose the person that will best serve the presidency. So these things normally would have a lot of backlashes here and there, and it is understandable. I mean, it is a process where the political power would have to manage it, the aftermath of these issues.
Now, these pushbacks, are they testament to the fact that we've still not got it right when it comes to development from the local levels or leadership at the local levels? I mean, if time and again we're seeing this stiff opposition when it comes to the nominees, does it not point to a problem?
Of course, there's a problem. There's a problem there. People in the constituency will normally feel that the presidency is imposing some candidate on them, that they don't want it. And then their preferred candidates are not nominated. And that would always be with us. So we need to find a way that we have to, either election that we went there, it couldn't work. We still have to open that conversation and find out how best we can solve that problem. Because if the constituency feels that the person coming will not serve their interest, they will always resist. So there are problems there. And then we, as citizens of the nation, will have to look at it and then find a lasting solution to this problem.
So from the AMA to the KMA to Tama and Tamale to Cape Coast, we've seen, pockets of resistance, the MMDCEs themselves. Yes. But looking at the situation we're in now, it now moves to the assemblies to cast their vote, and then either, per Article 2431, either accept the nomination of Mr. President or not. What do you foresee happening, especially in these places where there has been resistance to the nominees? Where do you feel the assemblies will be headed in that direction?
The assemblies usually are divided. If it comes to when issues of that happens, the assembly is divided. So sometimes the assembly will have people who are supporting candidates who are not picked, right, and then people who are supporting candidates, those are picked from the presidency. So in the assembly, to the fractures that we see happening, this disturbance are going to reflect in the primaries, in the elections of the assemblies. So that in itself, we need to have to find a problem, a solution to the issues of even who is an assembly member, who is a good candidate to be a representative of the citizens there, and that sort of thing, because the assembly themselves would have their own problems with the candidates that are coming. You will see if they are going to vote, there will be a lot of backlashes in the assembly too.
Yeah. I want to take you briefly to a guiding principle when it comes to the law in this country. Now, when you look at the article that talks about the MMDCEs, there is no strict guideline for the president. He gets to appoint the people or nominate them, and that is that. There's nothing in terms of a guideline to tell him what quality of people to put in those positions or nominate and all of that. Do you feel that is part of the problem? That is something that ought to be addressed?
I think that is also part of the whole thing, because if you don't give any strict guidelines as to who should qualify to be an assembly person, or there's a qualification there, but I think we need to really look at it. Who qualified to be a very good assembly person to represent the people, and then not the people who are nominated, also the assembly themselves. The assembly themselves, because the assembly should approve the nomination of the president. So if the assembly is also of people who cannot really look at the issues well, then they will approve any person that is nominated from the presidency. So the two sides all should look at. And this is a very big problem, because decentralization is a hard to economic development. And if we don't get this thing right, then we'll be getting people who don't qualify or who don't have the capacity to represent us at the various assemblies and municipal authorities.
Prof, please don't leave us yet. We just want to engage and find out what is happening in Kumasi currently. So please do stay with us. And in Kumasi, there's a group calling itself the Coalition of Metropolitan, Municipal and District Chief Aspirants, which is calling for calm among party faithful over nominations of local assembly heads. The group is currently addressing this press conference.
Anka nanado edom boye ne anka nso be pese ye ba be amansin asoafo na ye ni sori hu ni se beebi wo ho constituency bi wo ho a ubedu obi anipa be edu nipa enum nipa nan ofa kwa bi isa nipa du ba ko na ye presa di bia enye obi a na betumi yenya eye dan a ba ko pe na o manpanyi e betumi eyi no Enti ufa kwa bi isa ye baby a mi bi free a ye du baako nti se omampanyin ayi baako a na ke se aka nipa du se aka ne na aka nipa du ye bekwa.
So the little I gathered from that interaction, the point being made that out of a pool, it's only one person who usually would be selected. And that, in fact, has become the very thorny matter. So, Prof, just to wrap the conversation with you, what would you proffer in this instance where we have so much resistance to the nominees? What do you feel is the way forward? If you could advise Mr. President, what would you tell him in dealing with these circumstances?
Okay, what I will tell Mr. President is that this time around, they went to the constituency. The constituencies were able to nominate about 4 candidates or something like that at the regional level. I think that they should deepen the involvement of the various constituencies and district and municipal. When you deepen that involvement of the people, then they will nominate people who the people think that these are qualified people that we want them to represent us. So I think this is the first time that this approach was adopted, where the nominations were coming from the constituency. I think they should deepen it. They should find a process where in the constituency, there will be some sort of election that would select some people, and then it will be forwarded to the presidency. That would sometimes solve this kind of problem, because if you don't involve the various grassroots, then there will be backlashes all the time. And that is what I will be advising the presidency to do. They should involve the people at the grassroots so that the nomination will reflect the will of the people.
Prof, we're immensely grateful for your time. Thank you for joining us on Joy News Desk. That was Professor Albert Puni, a governance expert. We take a break here. We'll be back. Welcome back on Joy News Desk. Let's now take you back to Kumasi, where we have that coalition of MMDCE aspirants who are citing certain reasons for calm. Let's take you to that scene.
The Local Government Act 2016, Act 936, Section 20, Subsection 1, mandates the sitting president to appoint a district chief executive who will be approved by 2/3 majority of the members of the district assembly present and voting. In fulfillment of this constitutional provision, His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, has appointed MMDCs to various assemblies all over the 16 regions of Ghana. Many party faithfuls also showed interest and sought to be appointed by the president as MMDCs. All over the country, we have party people like chairman, secretary, organizers, and other key party personalities who were interested to catch the president's eye. However, it is quite obvious that the president can only appoint one person for this position. We are therefore calling on all our brothers and sisters all over the 16 regions of Ghana to exercise restraint and respect the appointments made by the president and accept it in good faith. We are also appealing to our honorable members of the various assemblies to put the interests of Ghana at first and endorse the mandate and endorse the president's appointees to avoid any unnecessary delay in the local government administration. Appointees are also advised to be humble and work very assiduously to complement the president's faith reposed in them. As a great party, the good people of Ghana believe we are the very party that can take a dear nation to the land of promise. The 8-year rule of former President Kufuor and the first-term achievement of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa is a solid proof to this fact. Therefore, the mantra breaking the 8 couldn't have come at a better time than this. Notwithstanding, we must understand that this mantra can be achieved on a silver platter. It will take hard work, unity, and sacrifice to achieve. It is for this reason that commerce exists. We have a political enemy that is roaring like a hungry lion for power. By this refer to the NDC. We will not underestimate them in any way. With one mind, one spirit, and one purpose, the NDC's John Dramani Mahama will be retired come 2024. Dear people and colleagues, let me once again emphasize by saying we have a goal to achieve. And the central goal is to build our nation and give hope to our people.
And so that is from that gathering there with the coalition of MMDCE aspirants and what they've been sharing. Let's move on to another story now, as the Bongo District Assembly has been allegedly accused by a private company of withdrawing money amounting to 180,000 Ghana cedis from its account without the consent of the account owner. The Assembly is said to have first deposited the money in the account under the pretext of awarding a contract to the company. Investigative journalist Manasseh Azuri Awene has more in the following.
When the CEO of Apogan KA Enterprise, Asumbekere Karim Anabla, got a notification that 31,000 cedis had been withdrawn in cash from his bank account, he was alarmed. But what alarmed him more was the name that came with the alert: David Aruk. David Aruk is the engineer and head of works department at the Bongo District Assembly, and Karim said he had not permitted him to withdraw any money from his account. Roxanne Akugre is the lawyer Karim contacted to officially seek answers from the bank and the district assembly.
We got instructions from our client in the nature of an award, a purportedly awarded contract to him. He's not aware that that contract has been awarded to him. He only got to know about it. But what prompted him to make inquiries was a text message he received on his phone indicating that some amount of money had been withdrawn from his account. His account, business account with Maltaba Rural Bank in Bongo. So that alerted him to make inquiries, and he got to know that a contract was purportedly awarded to him to drill, construct, test, and do hand pump installation in some location unknown to him. And the district chief executive, Peter Ayimbesa, was the person who signed the letter awarding the contract to him. And the money was paid into the account without his knowledge, and it was withdrawn without his knowledge.
Went to the Bongo Community Bank, Maltaba, and asked the manager. The manager told me that there was some contracts awarded to my company at Bongo Assembly. So they paid the money, and then they came and wrote the money. The Bongo coordinating director called me, Samuel Akanyanga, and pleaded with me that it was a mistake that they have used my documents. Then I told him that when you are using my documents, did you tell me anything? That's no.
On June 14, 2021, an amount of 156,000 cedis entered and disappeared from Karim's account at the Maltaba Community Bank in Bongo under murkier circumstances than the first withdrawal from the same bank. This time, Karim did not get a notification. He suspected the bank had intentionally deactivated the alert to him.
The first one, I got the transaction on my phone, but the second one, they disconnect me on the transaction. So I went and complained to them, and then they told me there's a problem, and then my number have deleted to their system. So I should give them the number to connect me again. So I gave them the number 26th June. So they connect me on the transaction 26th June again.
The chairman and two members of the board of the bank told me a technical problem resulted in the deactivation of notification to Karim. When Karim requested a statement of accounts from the bank, it did not indicate who withdrew the money. The narration that went with the withdrawal of the 156,000 was miscellaneous debits. The DCE of Bongo, Peter Ayimbesa, said the assembly could not have gone to withdraw any money from the contractor's account.
So I was surprised that they said that assembly went back and made same withdrawal. As I said, I'm not aware that assembly went back to make withdrawal. Assembly cannot go to make withdrawal because the project does not belong to assembly. The monies were paid in the names of the company. So how could assembly, that is not the company, go back to the bank to make withdrawals? In any case, assembly doesn't issue checks like previously. We pay through the GIFMIS platform. So when we pay, it goes through Bank of Ghana, and they do the transfer of same money to the contractor's bank. And it went to the bank. So how could we go back into the GIFMIS platform and make withdrawals of same? In the first place, we are not the contractors.
Despite this assertion, his head of works, David Aruk, admitted he withdrew the first amount, but claimed he did not know what he was doing.
In fact, I don't even know how to start. I was called at the bank that we have good working relationship, this and that I should come. When I got there, Baba was sitting with the bank manager.
We'll be bringing you more on that Bongo District Assembly scandal. Right now, though, let's settle for some business after the break.
Hi, welcome to Business. My name is Daryl Kwao. The second mini clinic of the JoyNews Ecobank Habitat Fair has lived up to its name as it drew patrons from diverse backgrounds, brought together by their quest to satisfy their housing needs. From land acquisition all the way to furnishing, the clinic served not only patrons who wanted to acquire private homes, but building consultants and architects who were looking to stock up new ideas for upcoming projects. Manuel Kranting was there and now reports.
The two-day mini-clinic, which is the second in a series of 3 ahead of the main JoyNews Ecobank Habitat Fair in October, attracted scores of patrons who were in search of answers to the question of whether to buy or to build that dream home. Various exhibitors pitched camp at the West Hills Mall with varied options on display.
Aside that, we have 3 and 4 bedroom houses that we are selling within our gated estate located at Katamanso off the Adenta Dodowa Road. We also have UPVC windows, doors and accessories here.
Fairnat has been in existence since 1974, which is about 47 years old, and the only wood manufacturing company in Ghana as of now. We can boast of quality doors, woods that are properly dried to the lowest moisture content.
Our doors are made of galvanized steel, solid galvanized steel doors, yeah. What we call glazing. We have balustrades. We've introduced gates as part of our lines, and most recently, our pergola, and then very wonderful kitchens.
Comprised of 4 components. You have the aluminum, the zinc, the magnesium, and the silicon. All these components come together to aid the product to perform better.
For private individuals who wanted their own homes, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I have seen these people, Bambi Smart Home, and their things are quality. I have their lights. When you put it on your phone, you can switch your light on phone and put it off on your phone. And even you can talk and the light will go off or come on. And you can talk, the blender will start working or go off.
So you are buying?
Yes, I'm buying. I'm about to pay it before you call.
Make the first step. Put the first step and make the first step and do the analysis for themselves and see whether it's good for them to build based on your income, whether it's to build or to buy.
But they were not alone. There were other building consultants and architects who are taking time off their busy schedules to hunt for new housing products and services at the clinic.
I'm an architect. Some of these exposures are very good. You come around and you see difference and the variety of things, products that we have in stock. And then that better also informs you as to whatever recommendations you can also make to clients when they come to you. Yes.
I'm an engineer myself, so I decided to pass by to see what is being offered, especially in the area of lands and other accessories relating to the industry, the building industry. That's why I'm here, and I've been impressed. But I recommend that if you are planning or if you even intend to do, just pass by. There are offers that might meet your need.
For many of the exhibitors who set up at the clinic, it had been a good time to make great sales.
All of this money.
It's a good opportunity from JoyNews, and I think this opportunity, we are just making good advantage. We are taking good advantage of it, yes. So we are making some sales, yes. Thanks to JoyNews, of course, yes.
Now, in other news this morning, all challenges regarding cocoa shipment from Ghana to Europe, Asia, and other parts of the world as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic have been managed now. This will allow for a smooth takeoff for the next crop season in October. According to head of business at Olam Ghana Cocoa, Eric Boche, the concerns of container shortage and freight costs have been resolved. Speaking with Joy Business, he was optimistic the development will increase the country's supply for the next season.
With the COVID thing, ships were not even available. And we all know how a lot of ships were locked up in Asia. But I think that is almost resolved now. And I think shipments and other things are on course. Once all of us are here today, it means that the COVID, we are learning how to live with the COVID. So our next year, 2021 agenda is not only to increase our bean business. So in the cocoa business, like I said, the other adjacencies that we drive. So what we are trying to do is to possibly keep this. Because one thing we have also come to understand is that we need to find ways of supporting some local companies to grow. And once we continue to deliver or drive this appetite to increase our market share, it does not allow the national companies to also be able to grow. So we think that there are so many parts of this industry, and we want to start growing those parts.
And that's all in business. Thanks for watching. Sports is coming up next.
Let's settle for some sports now. Oreku joins me in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
You decided to use a white mask today.
Yeah,
I've noticed.
Victory for Ghana, for Heart of Oak. So we're in celebratory mood.
Okay. I am a die-hard Kotoko fan, but yes, anything that is, they are representing the nation. So yes, full support behind the Phobia boys. But 2-0 beating, AC Kamsa. Of course, the Guinean situation and all of that. Were you impressed though? I mean, Kofi Koji with that spectacular free kick, and then the 18-year-old also coming through with that. Were you impressed?
In knockout games, it's probably beyond what you see with the eye. I know that in the first half left a lot to be improved on in terms of the performance, and Samuel Boadu was the first to admit that. Because
it was like the last 15 minutes or so that really...
Yeah, and that was pretty close, because the game would have ended up in a penalty shootout to decide who goes in the next round. And you never really want to go into such dramatic end to a game which could really go anywhere. And so with the magnitude of the game, I think that the players and Samuel Boadu realized that they had to step up. He made some substitutions which turned the game around. But statistically, that's what we've seen Heart of Oak do most of this season. They scored the majority of their goals in the latter part of games, in the last 10 minutes, with 18% of their 45 league goals last season coming in the last 10 minutes of games. So
in essence, this is to be expected of Heart of Oak.
Yeah, it's expected. You look at Kofi Koji scoring in the 82nd minute and Salim Adams getting that goal in the 93rd or 92nd minute, somewhere around there. So it's familiar territory for Heart of Oak, but this is not the Ghana Premier League, and in the next round where they face Wydad Athletic from Morocco, it would be a different challenge because teams only get stronger from here. The question is, would Wydad allow you to stay in the game whilst you try to settle in the first 75 minutes?
And these North African teams are very technical. I mean, Hearts faced the top team in Togo recently and stumbled.
Yeah.
And so that just puts things into perspective. They've scaled the AC Kamsa hurdle, but the question is, when they move on and face the North Africans, will they be tactically, disciplined to be able to survive that? That's what everyone is talking about now.
Yeah, and I think that they're also a bit disadvantaged because they play at home first in Accra on the 17th of October, and then between 22nd and 23rd they will play the second leg. So even if they do get a good result here, let's say a 2-0 win or a 2-1 win, it leaves a lot in their hands to do when they go to Morocco away, because Ghana's record in North African countries is extremely poor when you look at club football. And Kotoko themselves, their last CAF Champions League journey ended in a North African country. So they've always been the Achilles heel to Ghanaian clubs, and Boadu would have to navigate away if he wants to see Heart of Oak go into the group stages for the 5th time in their history.
Right. So with that as the next hurdle, and we'll see how it all pans out. Samuel Boadu has a lot on his plate that he has to deal with. It's pretty clear. This morning I was interacting with Felix Abwaje, the former Black Star striker, and he was also saying that, well, it will depend on the tactical discipline of the coach. If he can get that together, then the team could survive.
Yeah, I think that when you always have a good coach, you stand a chance, even if in terms of quality there's a clear disparity. But Heart of Oak, one thing that they do lack in this team is experience. And none of the players that played yesterday had CAF Champions League experience. Only their captain Fatal Mohammed and Benjamin Mensah, who was an unused substitute, had been engaged in CAF Continental Football. That's the Confederations Cup. And so there is that huge gap to fill in terms of experience. Hopefully, Gladson Awako, who's won the CAF Champions League a number of times, would be fit enough to play in that with that game and bring more experience.
Hopefully, like he said. Oreku, thank you very much for joining me with sports. And that's how we actually draw the curtains on Joy News Desk this morning. Let's check out some stories from myjoyonline.com. You can get them there, or you can just go to the website, myjoyonline.com, and check out the latest there. My name is Benjamin Akako. Thank you for staying.